Hello everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And you won't believe this, but we watched a movie. We watched The King of Staten Island. Now, Staten Island being the lesser of the boroughs.
The least of the boroughs.
According to...
Society?
Yeah, I mean...
it's pretty agreed by, at the very least, everyone not from Staten Island.
And most people from Staten Island.
And most people from Staten Island, too.
Yeah. It has not yet been fancified.
No. It's very far away.
Yes, it is a ferry boat away from anything that's cool. So, therefore, I guess there's not a lot of competition for who is king. I'm not even sure if they held elections or what. He's just, I guess, the self-appointed King of Staten Island. You may know him as Pete Davidson.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's anointed by God, like all kings. Isn't he? Isn't that how it works? We don't have elections.
Right.
Just saying.
True. Okay. So let's just fast forward past that part. So yeah, he's the King of Staten Island. We don't know how that came about, but he is. He is the undisputed, let's say, King of Staten Island. So you may know Pete Davidson as either one of the youngest ever cast members of SNL or Ariana Grande's sometimes boyfriend / fiance, I think.
Yeah, more people probably know him from the second one.
Okay. But he has made some major waves on SNL, and he does stand up, of course. We've seen him ourselves. He's like kind of a tall, lanky guy with a bunch of quality tattoos.
They're terrible. They're so bad.
I guess he got those on Staten Island.
I had to ask if those were like for the movie or if those are his actual tattoos. And those are his actual tattoos, but the whole thing in the movie is he's a terrible tattoo artist that does it on himself.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's nice. Now there are tax write-off. So, yes, Pete Davidson, a super talented guy, one of the youngest cast members ever recruited onto SNL in his very early 20s. And did some big stuff there, but also has had to take quite a bit of time off intermittently to go to rehab and address his issues, which he is super, super open about, which I kind of think is great. He has addictions issues. But sometimes he just goes to rehab because he needs to get his medication straight. Because he's got a lot of mental health issues. Quite a long list of diagnoses. But he's forthright about having suffered from depression and having been suicidal and having high anxiety and I think a borderline personality disorder, which is rough. So he's been dealing with a lot, plus crazy fame from a young age, and yet he has stayed out on Staten Island, still lives with his mother to this day, as does his character in the movie. So this movie, he is teamed up with Judd Apatow, and he has co-written it, so it is semi-autobiographical. Although his character in the movie, Scott, is not an aspiring comedian, he's an aspiring tattoo artist. Yeah. But mostly he's a ne'er-do-well. He's still living at home.
He's not up to much.
His little sister's eclipsed him. He mostly hangs out with his other loser friends. Smokes a lot of weed.
Tattoos 9-year-olds?
And tattoos whoever he can. Whoever consents. I know, Sean, you took some issue with that. I
did.
heard your lawyerly self take a sharp intake of breath.
I did.
Almost whipped out your card.
Yes, it's true. That's absolutely right. That was assault.
So one day, in the woods, he tattoos the wrong 9-year-old.
Is there a right 9-year-old to be tattooing, though?
Well, I would have taken it like a champ.
It's true.
So kid's dad is real angry.
Understandably.
Justifiably, I will say, comes knocking on his mama's door, which is the funniest thing to me. Like, he has to knock on him. Like, he is not a kid. It's not another 9-year-old that bullied him. It is a fully grown adult man. But he has to go to his mom's house. And his mom is like, oh yeah, I'll punish him.
Yeah.
What? But anyways, the mom and the angry dad, the mom, lovely Marisa Tomei, comes in for that. Bill Burr plays the bald-headed but gloriously mustachioed angry dad. And so they start dating, which, I mean, if there is any negative consequence to tattooing a 9-year-old, it's your mom
That's it.
sleeping with his dad.
Yeah, I think that is the worst punishment that could have been visited on Pete
record.
Davidson.
Yes. Especially because now that the mom, has someone else in her life, they're kind of giving him the boot. They kind of want to make some space
she's happy
for
to.
themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So poor Pete Davidson is woe is him.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a little hard because his dad died when he was a little boy. As Pete Davidson in real life, his father died. His father was a fireman who died in 9/11. And much like his father, his character's father in the movie died in a hotel fire. It was a hotel fire, actually. It was the Marriott, I think, right beside the World Trade Centers that got crushed when the towers came down. So the hotel fire bit was real. So yeah, he's processing his grief. And I think you do reprocess it. I mean, I don't know if you even can come to terms with it when you're a kid. You don't have all the tools. So I think once you're at a place in your life where you can, the grief comes back. And it certainly maybe has never even left him. And probably never will. So he's not just a loser, he's real sad. But it's a comedy.
It's a comedy. don't forget. Yeah.
We did mention that, right?
Yeah.
It is a comedy.
It's a comedy.
It's a Judd Apatow comedy. The guy who brought you the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Check.
Knocked Up.
Check.
Trainwreck.
Check.
Funny People.
Check.
I mean, all the funny movies in the past 10 years. And this one. So I thought it was interesting because there's a lot of juvenile humor in this. Not just because Pete Davidson's character has gone through quite remarkable, arrested development. Like, he is real stagnant in his life. He's real stuck. But because he eventually finds solace in a fire department. He just hangs out at the fire station because his mom kicked him out. He has nowhere else to go. So he's just sleeping on a couch in the fire station. And it turns out those guys are up to no good.
They have too much time on their hands.
They really do. They are doing real, frat boy shenanigans up in there.
Yeah, and this is for real. This is every firefighter I've ever known. This is what they live for. It's ridiculous. And they're getting paid for this.
They are. They sure are. So, yeah. But you know who giggled the hardest at those parts?
Me.
Yeah, you.
It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Pranks are funny.
Pranks are funny, yeah. And you know who else does that?
9-year-olds?
Yeah.
My nephew.
Who's not even 9 yet.
No, not yet. But almost.
Almost.
Ready for a tattoo.
You might say. Yes. I'm sure he might agree.
He would agree.
He has been working on his muscles.
Yes, he has.
And what better way to show those off than a nice Tasmanian devil?
Or Batman. Mm-hmm. Who else? Spider-Man. He likes Spider-Man. We can sell him on something.
Listen, his mom is my sister. I can't let that happen on my watch. And you know.
Oh yeah, that would be the worst
we would
thing
be
ever.
Cut off.
Absolutely. We might be murdered.
Yes, we might. So, did you like the movie?
I did.
Oh, good.
I did enjoy it.
Okay.
It is very uneven because it's not just a comedy.
No.
There is so much in there that is hard. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't shy away from that stuff, but I think it is entertaining all the way through.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of Funny People. Because in that one, Adam Sandler, like, I think has cancer and thinks he's going to die.
Oh, yeah.
He plays a stand-up comedian. He and Judd Apatow were college roommates. Which, I mean, how does...
Yeah, it's crazy.
What is the synchronicity in this world? And the greatest thing on earth, I think, is some of their, like, when they were young and roommates, before anyone had any kind of fame, they were just making prank calls, which is a thing people used to do.
Yeah, it is.
Before cell phones gave us away.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore, although our 8-year-old nephew has not discovered that.
That's right.
He doesn't realize that it says his mom's name when he calls me from his cell phone. But like, you know, they were those kids, and now they're like grown up super duper millionaires and making a movie together, which was sad but also very funny.
Yeah.
And I think this one kind of has some of that energy again. So I did find it weird because they could go very low on the humor, but also have these, like, you know, death and grief and childhood trauma kind of stuff coming up. So it was not afraid to wade into the depths of his psyche, which, you know, it's not real easy to write something that everyone will identify as semi-autobiographical and put your shit out there and own it.
Yeah.
So
but he does.
He sure does. And his performance is super low-key, which, I mean, that's the vibe he's always giving off, perhaps because he is always a little bit high. But he just, you know, his energy is really chill, which is funny because he does also have high anxiety, so he must just be doing those in a closet somewhere. Because he doesn't really have that energy.
Vibe. No.
You know. So, he was an interesting protagonist.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, what else would you want in a king from Staten Island?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it fits.
It does.
It does.
Go ahead and crown.
Heavy is the crown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. So, you enjoyed it.
I did. And you?
I did enjoy it. I was not real sold on this Bill Burr character.
Yeah.
So I probably would have taken a little less of him. I actually really liked it when Pete Davidson's character was interacting with his younger children, Bill Burr's younger
That
kids.
was good, yeah.
And I could have seen more of that. I thought he had a surprisingly good chemistry with them. Like, you know, he was easy with them, which was surprising not only for Pete Davidson, but the character in the movie.
Yeah.
So I thought
the mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, a lot of Eskimo brothers in Staten Island, I'm guessing. It's a small dating pool, you know.
Yeah.
And they're all neighbors, apparently. They're all just within walking
walk
distance
around.
of each other. So yes, it is not and like most Judd Apatow films, it is longer than you think for a comedy.
Yeah, it is.
So there are some like loose, unstructured scenes where it's not just like laugh, laugh, laugh. You know, you work for the laugh a little bit. But I think it is a smarter comedy because of that.
Yeah, I think it is one of those things where if you hate Judd Apatow movies, you're going to hate this movie. Mm-hmm. And hey, if you do, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you for it. He has his own way of making these films. Mm-hmm. And he's consistent with it, and it works for me.
Well.
So there you go.
All right. Sean has spoken.
I have.
It works for him.
Works for me. Mm-hmm. Keep making them.
Oh, boy. Well, sounds good. All right. So it is on home premiere. So it was supposed to go to the theaters, and they were like, you know what? Let's just go straight to the rental. So it is renting now for $20 because it is brand new, out right now. Right?
Right.
We thought it was worth it.
Yes, we did.
We did. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.